Hello and welcome to the Primetime News here on Joy News on Multi TV. I am Gifty Ando Apia, and coming up, death toll in the accident at the Commander in the Central Region rises to 15, with one survivor on life support at the Central Regional Hospital. Meanwhile, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Accident Center says cases recorded during the festive season in 2013 is lower than what was recorded in 2012. President Mahama meets Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates in Dubai. And coming up in business, financial analysts want traditional banks to be more innovative in products to increase deposits. On the international front, Tuesday's deadline to Syria to hand over chemical weapons may not be met. Many thanks for joining us. We have these showbiz and some sports coming up. The death toll in the accident at Antado near Commander Junction in the Central Region has risen to 15, with one survivor who is on life support at the Central Region Hospital.
The accident happened a few minutes after 11 Monday morning at Antado, a small community near Commander Junction in the Central Region. An articulated cargo truck from Takrady is purported to have burst a tie and run into a Sprinter bus with registration number WR252613 with 15 passengers on board from Mankesim, killing all occupants with the exception of one who is in a very critical condition. The articulated driver also lost his life instantly. Kofi Edu is an eyewitness.
The
regional road safety boss, Stephen Anochi, confirmed the number of deaths and revealed what might have caused the accident upon preliminary investigations.
The cause of the accident was due to the articulator truck having one of its tires blasted, and in the process, when this vehicle, which was coming from Accra, tried to swerve him into safety, he got stuck in the ditch here, and because the articulator driver could not control his vehicle because of the tire blast, it went to hit him and threw him from where it was stuck, and so far 14 people are dead. We are very worried about the situation. Anytime there's a very serious accident that claims a lot of lives, you can be sure that it's an articulator and a splinter. That is what we are experiencing on our roads in the Central Region here.
Meanwhile, the only survivor of the accident, a gentleman in his early 20s, according to the medical director at the Central Regional Hospital, is on life support and is being worked on for him to pull through. Central Regional Minister Samuel Sapong, the Regional Police Commander Ransford Moses Nenson, and other dignitaries who rushed to the scene of the accident and followed through to the hospital were taken aback at the number of persons who perished. The Regional Minister cautioned drivers to be careful on the road as the end of the year draws nigh.
From the information that I had, the articulator driver was overspeeding, and that is the reason why he was not able to control the vehicle when one of the tires got burst. You see? And as of now, we've lost about 14 or 15 souls. It's very, very unfortunate. And this should still be an eye-opener. We will still continue to caution ourselves. Our drivers, be very, very careful on our roads.
Richard Kojenyaku filed this report from the Central Region.
Okay, Stephen Anoche is the road safety manager of the central region. Let's go on the line to him and find out any updates. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, madam.
And thank you very much for joining us here on Joy News. We'd like to find out, are there any updates as far as this accident is concerned that you can give us?
Yeah, as at the time we filed the earlier report, we went to the hospital as you indicated with the regional minister, and 15 were confirmed dead. 6 of them were female and 9 of them were male. That is the update that we have now. As to whether they have been identified, we are yet to confirm whether some of the bodies have been identified yet.
Okay. This gentleman on life support, can you tell us how he's faring?
Yes, we went to the hospital and saw him. The doctors are doing their best. They give us the assurance that hopefully he will come around, and we are all praying for him.
Hasn't it been too long, for people to begin identifying these people who have passed on and the guy on life support as well?
Well, as of the time we were at the hospital, that was around 3 o'clock. And this accident occurred somewhere around 11. Okay. And, the news started going out through your mediums, and we believe that a lot more people are yet to hear of it. Okay. So people wouldn't even know whether they have their people involved in the accident. So I think it will take a bit of time to identify them. So we, through your medium, appealing to families to look out for their loved ones and their family members who are traveling to see if they were involved in the accident.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've been speaking to Stephen Anoche. He's a road safety manager at the Central Region. Let's move on with other stories now. Officials at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Accident Center say the number of cases reported during the festive season this year was better compared to that of 2012, though they had no immediate figures. The center recorded 4,187 road traffic accidents from January to December 2013.
The Kolebu Teaching Hospital continues to record high numbers of accident cases, especially during the Christmas season. From January to December 2013, the center has recorded over 29,000 vehicular accidents and over 1,002 motorcycle accidents. Over 100 deaths were recorded over the period, of which 12 were brought in dead. The months of March and April saw the highest number of road traffic accidents, with the facility recording 587 cases. Most of the deaths recorded were mostly the youth within the age range of 22 to 33 years.
We receive about 80% of all the accidents in this country, a lot. And from January, we've had a lot. Normally, December is a very bad month, December and then up to second half of January because of the festivities. But this year, it looks like the education, sensitization have all gone down very well. So it looks like this year, the numbers have reduced drastically. The previous years, for example, this ward was full. The rest of the wards, the corridors and rest were all full up.
Though the figures during the festive season was low, officials are still worried about the high number of road traffic accidents.
The main challenge we have at the Kolebu Accident Center is space. We have a very small space, limited space for the number of cases we receive. Now, the other problem we have is that some of the hospitals don't want to work because it's festive days. So even some of the cases that they have had for some days now are being transferred to us, something that is unfair. We also don't want to return the patients because it will be like moving from one hospital to the other and then suffering and all that. So we are still taking and then treating. But that's the situation we have at the moment.
The center still struggles daily to cope with the high number of accident victims. Officials are, however, hopeful the new trauma center, when completed, will ease congestion.
The Dodowa command of the Ghana Police Service has arrested the 60-year-old suspect who defiled a 4-year-old girl at Afienya. Dodowa District Police Commander Superintendent Kwesi Ofori told Joy News the police is looking at charges to be preferred against the grandmother who took money and refused to disclose what had happened to the girl. Meanwhile, the police has assured it will follow the case till justice is served.
So far, preliminary investigation disclose that deferment will be appropriate. and he will soon be put before court. Defilement is not a bailable offense, and that subject is in custody, and we are just waiting, for the court to resume, from the festivities, and then we proceed from there. We've done whatever it takes, to complete our investigation.
Look at the fact that the grandma was given 150 cedis after the child had reported this incident. What kind of a charge does that also fetch?
That may mean she and the others who negotiated that unholy deal may be culpable for compounding, crime.
Is that a charge you're adding to defilement for the 60-year-old man and perhaps the grandma?
Since the child is undergoing medical treatment at the police hospital, we're holding on to that, and it is the grandmom. She stays with the grandmom. The mother is not in the country, and the child only knows her grandmom. So for now, she is the one going up and down to the hospital.
Right.
So we may, have to devise a good strategy, to make sure that those who, in one way or the other, struck that unholy deal where they gave 1.5 million Ghana cedis, to the woman, we need to look at it so that next time round it becomes a deterrent to.
The Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Cephas Arthur, is urging Ghanaians to ensure their own security as they leave their homes for various celebration venues to usher in the new year.
When they are going for the watch night or returning from the watch night, they should avoid dark places. They should also avoid desolate places, places that are isolated. Because these are the places that criminals hide and commit crimes. Furthermore, if they can walk in groups, it will help. When they are going out, they should secure their doors, lock them well, put on the lights around the house, and they should also ensure that they don't leave only the infirm, the sick, the aged in the house, and that they should keep their children very, very close to them.
DSP Cephas Arthur also entreated parents to give their children some basic security education so they can be on guard when left alone at home.
If they are not going with them, they should ensure that they are secured in their house. They should give them pieces of security advice that they should not get out of the house in their absence. And should anybody come knocking and asking that the doors be opened to them, and such voices are not theirs, the children should not comply. And they should even be kind of baited that, your mother says I should bring you to church, they are not going to come soon. They shouldn't open the door.
The police would also be available at various locations in the country to ensure a crime-free 31st night.
We'll be working. We'll be abroad, all over, at the churches, drinking spots. People will not be going to church. People will be going to the drinking spots to celebrate there. So we'll be all over. We'll be with the churchgoers to ensure that we provide security for them. We'll be in their homes because they will desert their homes. So we'll also be there in the communities patrolling to ensure that their property are secured and their aged, their infirm, their sick relatives are also secured.
In the case of any emergency, you can contact the police on 18555 for Vodafone or MTN users, and also 0302 773 906 for all networks.
Well, although the infrastructure necessary to facilitate success of non-custodial sentences in Ghana are non-existent, prison authorities believe it is the #1 solution to decongestion in the country's prisons. The Interior Ministry last week announced proposals yet to be forwarded to Parliament seeking legislative backing for non-custodial sentences. The Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Matilda Bafo-Ewa, provides some answers in the following report.
There are conditions. Maybe come every morning and sweep the gutter for 30 minutes. Come every morning and weed the farm for 1 hour. If you are educated and productive, you can even go and teach. So if you fail to turn up, then definitely you are not somebody who can be given a non-custodial sentence, because a non-custodial sentence means that you should be able to perform that sanction within the community, granted that you have the infrastructure. But when you show by your conduct that you are not that kind of person who can perform that sanction in the community, then it means you are a prison material.
All 43 prisons in Ghana are currently holding 14,442 prisoners, which is 4,567 more than the authorized capacity of 9,875. This statistic, which continues to soar, has worsened conditions in the prisons, leading to easy spread of diseases, the use of the prisons as training grounds for hardened criminals by criminals, and other practices amounting to human rights abuses. The proposed non-custodial sentence, as explained by the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, will ensure people serve terms in jail only when it is necessary. The infrastructure to check abuse of the system and monitoring those serving such sentences are only two of the crucials which are non-existent. Currently, there are no institutionalized monitoring system even for discharged prisoners. So how do authorities intend to do this?
We are now planning it. There should be a starting point. We have to start it at this time, nurse it, and then make it become better. Because we need the personnel who monitor the people in the community. So either we can give that sort of job to prison officers and policemen, because we are almost doing the same thing.
She says despite congestions in the prisons, the service can only do as much, since the justice system continues to put people in their custody.
When the structures are put in place for the supervision of non-custodial sentences, I think the judges should be brought on board, because they are the people who will give the sentences, and they have to be convinced that the non-custodial sentences will serve the purpose for which we are introducing it, to replace imprisonment. It will help to decongest the prisons. 2, it will make sure that people who are not supposed to be in prison are not in prison, and that they are outside there doing some sort of community work, which also promotes their social reintegration. It will reduce the burden on the government, because it costs so much to take care of prisoners. We have to do a lot of public education, otherwise people may think we are becoming too liberal. But we have to look at the benefits, and I think the benefits outweigh the fears that people may have.
Although enormous benefits about non-custodial sentences have been outlined, its failure may come with its own dire consequences. It therefore sounds to reason that the appropriate fundamentals or provisional anti-abuse arrangements are also laid bare. For Joy News, Gifty Ando-Apia.
You're still on the primetime news here on Joy News on Multi TV Stories. We've been looking at this toll in the accident at Komenda in the Central Region rises to 15, with 1 survivor on life support. Still to come, financial analyst wants traditional banks to be more innovative in products to increase deposits. Please stay. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. President John Mahama has met Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum of UAE in Dubai. The discussion centered on government's efforts at modernizing, especially the capital city. President Mahama recognized Dubai's growth and development over the last few years, noting Ghana Ghana and especially Accra can go the way of the Arab city. Ghana, he said, will draw lessons from Dubai's development model and benefit from its human expertise and energies. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, who is also vice president and ruler of Dubai, stressed the need to enhance bilateral cooperation and exchange of expertise in areas such as tourism, oil and infrastructure development. "2013 has been eventful for the country in general as the labour scene became turbulent with consistent strikes and an election petition that dragged on for months. Despite these, some ministers tell Joy News they have made some remarkable achievements.
The Minister of Health, Sherry Ayite, indicated those strike actions by doctors and pharmacists affected revenue of health centres in the first quarter. The ministry was able to establish cordial relationship with the groups by addressing their grievances. She said the ministry had been replacing obsolete equipment in hospitals across the country, and the coming year would see more district hospitals equipped and upgraded.
Kolebu, which is a referral hospital, we spent almost $60 million to replace a lot of old equipment. From February to June, we are going to replace almost 84 district hospitals. We are going to provide them with new machines, new equipment, various types. This year, we also, handed over some completed district hospitals to the district assembly, like Takwa, and also we commissioned the work for the 600-bed teaching hospital, which is being constructed at Legon. Currently, they are almost 20%, with the work, and we hope that within 36 months, we will be able to complete this work.
According to her, immunization and outreach programs were intensified to improve maternal and child health. Though the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry had less than 60% of its budget released this year, the Minister Alhaji Inusa Fuseini said they chalked moderate successes. He explained about 5,000 illegal small-scale miners were deported while the country was making progress on the maritime dispute between Ghana and Ivory Coast.
We've been able to come out with a roadmap, and hopefully by middle next year, the maritime dispute between Ghana and Ivory Coast on the exact maritime boundary of the two countries will be determined by consensus through negotiations. We were able to implement an effective mechanism for the protection of the Achimota forest. Achimota forest, when converted into an eco-park facility, will prevent, stop, or mitigate any other or any further encroachments on the land. The Achimota Ecotourism Facility contemplates that and has made provision, indeed, for churches who will have a religious enclave within the forest when converted into an ecotourism facility to still commune with God. We're not going to sack them. We are not going to regularize their activities. It's not going to be a planned activity.
The minister is hopeful the budgeted 250 million Ghana cedis for 2014 would see the ministry taking robust measures to sanitize the mining and timber sectors, as well as increase the forest cover of the country. The agriculture sector, meanwhile, was said to have recovered this year, recording a marginal growth of 3.4%, up from 1.2% recorded in 2012. The sector minister indicated they were making progress with the agriculture modernization program, which saw an injection of 4.6 million cedis into the sector between January and September 2013.
The investments are in the areas, for example, if we talk about agricultural mechanization, which is the main instrument of modernization, we have imported about 150 horsepower cabrio tractors, which we have distributed throughout the country to enable our farmers increase acreage of cultivation. There were surpluses as far as grains are concerned, except rice. We also have a lot of surpluses with the roots and tubers, that is cassava, plantain, and cocoyam. And we have done modestly well with livestock production, except for the poultry subsector.
According to him, the e-extension service being piloted in the Greater Accra region would be rolled out to cover the entire country once expected results were attained. He also revealed the ministry was working with the presidency to extend retirement of the country's limited veterinary officers.
Let's do some politics now. Nomination forms for applicants interested in contesting regional executive position in opposition NPP has opened. General Secretary Kwadwo Efrieto joined news. The party is committed to ensuring that the elections are conducted in a democratic atmosphere. He says they've also provided a platform for all persons who, in one way or the other, will be aggrieved by the process to appeal before nominations are closed on January 20, 2014.
The nomination forms, which cost 100 Ghana cedis, have already been discharged to all district and regional capitals in the country. The elections will be held on January 25, 2014, and all interested persons are expected to file their nomination by close of day, January 7. It costs 1,000 Ghana cedis for applicants interested in contesting the regional chairmanship position and 500 Ghana cedis for all the other positions.
I've sent 30 forms each to each region. My assumption is that for every position, 3 persons may be interested. If for some reason the forms are short and that some people cannot get forms, our rules are very clear that if you went to the region and the forms are finished and that you cannot get forms, come to the national. We have extra forms that will be sent to the centers for purpose of person who could not get the forms. So it's not a matter of fighting. It's not a matter of going to the press. It's not a matter of picking up any quarrel with anybody. We have several other forms left. So those who cannot get the forms to buy, there are several here that you can contact at my office, and then you could be given some of these things to buy.
Kwadwo Efrieto promised applicants that the elections will be held in a free and transparent manner.
Our constitution is so clear. The constituency supervises the polling station elections and the electoral area coordinators elections. The region supervises the constituency elections, and the national supervises the regional elections. And so, our process is very transparent and very good. And I'm very happy, and I can assure everybody that all perceived interests will be taken out, and the elections will be conducted free from any interference whatsoever from anybody.
He also spoke about his personal campaign to retain his position as the General Secretary of the party.
Over 5 million out there who voted for the party are like Sir John, out there in the markets, in the streets, the ordinary man and woman of this party. It is for such people that I have become what I am. And I do not regret having gone down, removed the suits, removed the ties, and gotten into the gutter and fought for this party. And I believe that the party will reward me, accordingly. And as Paul says, I have fought the fight. I've run the course. And I have finished, the job that I was asked to do. What is left is for the party to crown me with the crown of success. And I have no doubt at all in my mind that when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there.
The elections is open to all card-bearing members of the party in good standing for 2 years, who are residents in the region or hail from the region. The General Secretary appealed to all persons who are likely to be aggrieved one way or the other by the process to appeal before nominations are closed on January 20, 2014.
Meanwhile, the NPP General Secretary Kojo Osei has denied allegations by a Member of Parliament for Assin Central, Kennedy Japan, that he supplied the party with motorcycles during the 2012 electioneering campaign. Kennedy Japan is in the last few days has been accusing the leadership of the party of corruption, noting that officials were now sharing the motorbikes to seek re-election in the ongoing regional and district executive elections instead of the purpose it was originally intended for.
Since I became General Secretary of this party 4 years down the line, I have not received from Kennedy Japan any motorbikes or vehicles or anything at all for purposes of supporting my administration. And I can say that as a matter of fact because I am the General Secretary of the party. But that is not to say that Ken may not have given some motorbikes or support to some other persons. But I can only speak for the party. And as far as I am concerned, as the General Secretary of the party, we have not received any motorbikes from Ken. If indeed he had supplied motorbikes to anybody in this party outside our secretariat, then he is the best person to tell who those motorbikes were given to. And therefore, if he wants his motorbikes, then he knows where to go to collect his motorbikes.
The Assin Central MP has meanwhile been invited by the Council of Elders of the party on his latest outburst. It is not clear what decision the party will take on his recent comments.
Some residents of Anthem, a suburb of Cape Coast, are disposing of human waste through open drains in the area. According to opinion leaders at Anthem, suckaways are connected to open drains and human waste is disposed of daily.
Residents are angry the situation is impacting negatively on effort at curbing poor sanitation. They are confronted with having to clear human waste anytime they organize cleanup exercises, especially during the sealing of gutters. An opinion leader of the area, Abdullah Sam, said all attempts to put a stop to the practice situation have failed. He hoped the Cape Coast Municipal Assembly would come to their aid and stop the practice.
Ma yimina osi we chucho wana o toilet won fi no was now no about to go to out to bra no we boy was o si bibia o wode she azena no do o yin bi o nti nsu no so buda toilet nyina ba fa go to mu say hu onye fio.
Meanwhile, a 30-member non-partisan Keep Fit Club has been inaugurated at Anthem to support efforts at improving sanitation through periodic cleanup exercises. The Metropolitan Chief Executive, Priscilla Ahin, who inaugurated the club, charged the youth in the area to shun social vices and fight to bring development to the community.
But we're doing business. So what's up in business tonight?
Well, banks have been asked to be innovative. So let's do the story now. My name is Abigail Adomakwenchi, and I'm here to bring you some business reports. Now, financial analyst and head of research at the Gold Coast Management Fund, Samuel Ampa, has called on banks to be innovative in products they offer Ghanaians. He's asking the banks to offer services that can satisfy the agriculture, oil and gas, among other critical sectors of the economy, to help them raise more deposits. His call comes at the heels of banks' cry over difficulties in mobilizing deposits following the increasing numbers of non-bank financial institutions.
Commercial banks do not have low deposits.
it's just competition within the industry that is, crippling or fighting them. All that they need to do basically is that to be very innovative in their product. That is where I think most commercial banks are not. They should be innovative, because if you look at, let's say, for example, the mortgage market, how many commercial banks are doing mortgaging? It's an area which is very green and has a lot of opportunities. So if mortgage products are being unleashed on the market, where a lot you see that the people looking for housing facilities are more, but they can't afford. The commercial bank should come in and help. That is an area that we've not taken advantage of. Which need. If you look at agriculture, I mean, how many commercial banks support the agri sector in this country? Very few. If you design your product very well to mitigate the risk, you can be at the forefront of providing what we do not have as a country. It is not easy, but if you look at the agri sector, where we've had a lot of challenges in terms of growth in the agri sector, all that the agri sector needs is financial injection. Okay, but these banks are there. We're looking forward to grow our economy very well, and therefore the financial sector should be able to be the real backbone of growth for this economy. Otherwise, certain sectors that need their support, like the agri sector, even the oil sector, we can't really participate in it.
Now, the Petroleum Revenue Management Act 815 is to be amended early next year to rectify some inconsistencies that exist in the current law 2.5 years after it was enacted. Some of the inconsistencies identified in the law include the calculation of the petroleum benchmark revenue and allocations to the Ghana Petroleum Fund, the Ghana Stabilization Fund and the Ghana Heritage Fund and annual budget funding amount. Membership of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee (PIAC) and the qualifying instruments which Ghana Petroleum Funds GPF should be invested in. The amendment would, however, ensure a smooth, efficient and transparent implementation of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. Now to some international business. China has local government debt of 17.7 trillion yuan, up 70% from 3 years ago. According to an official report, China's government asked the National Audit Office in July to do a roundup of the debt outstanding at a local level. The report showed some local governments were using new loans to repay more than a fifth of their debt. China has a total government debt of about 58% of its economic output. And that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adumako-Nchi. For more business news, log on to My Joy Online. Gifty and Apia comes up shortly with more news.
Time now for some sports. And Liverpool are chasing Udinese Emmanuel Ajimabedu as Brendan Rodgers draws up his list of January targets. Reds boss Rodgers is desperate to bring in a handful of new players in the new year, having recently bemoaned the club's lack of depth. The 23-year-old is rising star in Serie A and has been personally recommended to Rodgers by his European scout. Ajimabedu can play in both midfield and defense, meaning he would provide valuable cover as Rodgers' men chase Champions League football. And West Brom striker Nicolas Anelka has agreed not to use the gesture again when celebrating goals. Anelka, 34, made the sign described as an inverted Nazi salute after scoring his first of 2 goals in Saturday's 3-3 draw at West Ham. France's sports minister accused him of a disgusting anti-Semitic gesture. A statement from West Brom said the club has asked Nicolas not to perform the gesture again. Nicolas immediately agreed to adhere to this request. Michael Schumacher's doctors say the 7-time Formula One champion is fighting for his life after a ski accident in the French Alps. The driver remains in critical condition in hospital in Grenoble with head injuries suffered on Sunday morning at the resort of Maribel. His family are at his bedside. Schumacher underwent surgery on arrival at the University Hospital in Grenoble. He remains in a coma, and the medical team treating him said that they're working hour by hour. The 44-year-old German was the 44-year-old German was skiing off-piste with his